Hey loves, welcome to my kitchen. Dr. Edie here. I'm so excited to share with you literally one of my favorite recipes of all time that I make at least once a week. My grandbabies love it, we love it, the kids love it. So these sourdough English muffins, I think, is one of the easiest things that you can use your sourdough starter for. And even if you only kept a sourdough starter just to make these muffins, so worth it. They are so yummy, so chewy. Even if you don't think you like English muffins, you're gonna love these. So I'm gonna get my apron on. I'm gonna move you over here so that you can see it kind of from start to finish, and we will get started. Okay, so we're ready. Here's the thing. I took last night 2 cups of flour, a half cup of active bubbly sourdough starter, and a cup of water, and I mixed that together. And you should have seen it last night, you guys. It was just a little bitty dough ball. And then when I woke up this morning, she was so lovely, expanded, you know, this is what happens when you have a nice active bubbly sourdough starter. So then in the morning, what I do is I combine about a teaspoon of sugar and about a teaspoon of baking powder. I already put that in there. And then here's the key, everyone. Get your hands kind of wet. I actually do this near the sink when I'm actually doing it, but to show you guys, I just brought this water over here. So I just get my hands wet and kind of do this dimpling so that the baking powder and the little bit of sugar, I forgot to add a teaspoon of salt. So here we go, teaspoon of salt. With my wet hands, I start kind of taking this dough, and I'm basically going to mix in, can you see that? I'm going to mix in all of those little additions that I added. And because my hands are wet, this is why I do this next to my sink. Because my hands are wet, it makes it easy to do it. And then I'm gonna get both my hands wet, and I'm gonna take this dough and kind of basically do like this and mix that all in really good so that it's kind of smooth on one side. See how I'm just mixing that all in? And then I'll put it back in there, and then we're gonna go over to the stove and get ready to bake these. You actually bake these on an iron skillet on the stove, and I use coconut oil for that. So we'll kind of move you over here to do that. So I am going to put my stove kind of on low medium heat, and then I'm gonna do some coconut oil in the iron skillet. So coconut oil in the iron skillet. And then as that is melting, I'm gonna take my dough that now has all of those additions, the salt, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of baking powder. I'm gonna take my dough and I'm gonna put it right here onto this floured surface. It's really nice, by the way, if you have a countertop that you can do it right on. So I'm just gonna take this onto my floured countertop, put some flour on the top, and then kind of mash this out. It almost reminds me of how we Southerners make biscuits. And actually, sourdough English muffins are kind of a rustic bread, kind of like a biscuit. So really good for breakfast. We will make like breakfast sandwiches. We'll have them just with butter and jam. So then I take a cup. Again, this is like an old Southern lady. I take a cup and I just cut these into little like biscuit size English muffins. So I'm going to cut this all out like that. And as soon as this gets hot enough, I will start putting these in the iron skillet. Anybody else have a sourdough starter? Anybody else a lover of all things sourdough? Now, I like to make sure there's plenty of coconut oil in the pan. And then we're going to let this get hot. I'll be right back. I'm going to wash my hands. I think we're ready to start. Just put these in a well-oiled iron skillet. Could have stood to be a little bit hotter, to be honest. So I'm going to turn it up just a hair. Emmy, are you happy to be learning this?
Yes.
Technique as well? No, this is a fun one. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to take this leftover dough because listen, these are so good that you don't want to waste any of this amazing dough. So all of the little leftovers, I'm gonna combine back into one dough and then mash it out again and get as many more. You just keep flouring it, by the way, if it's a little sticky. Because what you kind of want to do is make sure they get good and brown on one side. And you can see they're kind of starting to rise. They're not really starting to get brown yet. I would say total these probably take about 15 or 20 minutes. And my stove doesn't cook super even, so I'm going to turn it so that this little side gets some good browning too. Okay, so I've turned them all over and most of them are looking pretty done. I just put a new one in here because I've got a few more ready to put in. Most of these are looking pretty done. So I'll start taking them off. I usually cook most of it medium to low, depending on if they feel like they're getting too brown but not getting done in the center. Then I'll turn it down a little bit, and then I just keep adding a little bit more coconut oil as I need to. And yeah. So we'll start taking some of these off and adding the others. And then we'll try one. How about that? Okay, so they're done. They're so yummy, you guys. Now, normally at my house, we toast them and then we put butter, eggs, sausage, whatever else you want. But I just couldn't stand it. I just had to have a little bite with a little butter. They're so good. So chewy. Absolutely divine. You have to make this recipe. It's so good. Your kids will love it. Your little grandbabies will love it. And you'll love it. Okay. Thanks for watching.